Welcome to the Bible Mysteries playlist. This is episode 8, Mysteries of Israel's Survival. How has Israel survived against impossible odds? From ancient prophecy to modern history, the Bible reveals the answer. In the prophetic words of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verses 35 to 36, God makes a staggering declaration that anchors his promise to the very fabric of creation. Thus says the Lord, who gives the sun for light by day, and the fixed order of the moon and the stars for light by night. Only if this fixed order departs from before me, declares the Lord, then shall the offspring of Israel cease from being a nation before me forever. This is no mere poetic flourish. It's a divine benchmark. God ties the eternal destiny of Israel to the unshakable, predictable cycles of the cosmos. The promise of Israel's national survival is as certain as the sunrise, as reliable as the tides. It's a promise anchored not in human strength, political alliances, or military might, but in the same creative power that set the universe in motion and sustains it every single moment. It tells us that God's commitment is absolute, his word immutable. This profound promise is part of a sacred covenant, a theme that runs like a golden thread through the entire biblical narrative. A biblical covenant is far more than a simple contract. It's a solemn, binding relationship initiated by God himself. The foundational promise to Israel begins centuries earlier with Abraham. In Genesis, God calls a man from Mesopotamia and makes an unconditional promise to make of him a great nation, to bless him, and to give his descendants a specific promised land. This is the Abrahamic covenant, an eternal pledge that forms the very bedrock of Israel's identity and destiny. And what a destiny it has been. The pages of history are littered with the ruins of empires that have risen and fallen. The Egyptians, Assyrians, Babylonians, Romans. Many have sought to conquer or annihilate the Jewish people. Israel has faced exile, been scattered to the four corners of the earth, and endured unspeakable persecution. By any human logic, they should have vanished, assimilated into the nations, becoming a mere footnote in ancient history. Yet, they remain. Their miraculous survival is not an accident. It is a testament to divine providence. It stands as the world's most visible and enduring evidence that God is a keeper of his promises. The covenant was never just about a people in the abstract. It was about a people and a place. The land of Israel is not incidental. It is integral to the promise. For 2,000 years of dispersion, the Jewish people, though scattered, prayed facing Jerusalem. The hopeful cry, "Next year in Jerusalem," echoed through generations, a testament to an unbreakable spiritual and historical bond. The re-establishment of the modern state of Israel is therefore seen by many as a monumental fulfillment of these ancient prophecies. To see the desert bloom, to hear Hebrew as a living language on the streets of Tel Aviv, is to witness the covenant in action. So today when we look at Israel, we see more than a nation in a complex region. We see a living testimony. From the ancient stones of the Western Wall, absorbing the prayers of millennia, to the vibrant, innovative spirit of its diverse people building a future. From the quiet, reflective shores of the Sea of Galilee to the bustling, colorful markets of Jerusalem, Israel is a signpost for all humanity. It declares to the world that God has not forgotten his promises. Just as surely as the sun will rise tomorrow, his covenant with Israel endures. An eternal promise, a story of faithfulness that continues to unfold before our very eyes. Ezekiel 37, 11-12. These bones are the whole house of Israel. I will open your graves and bring you back to the land. Teaching. Prophecy fulfilled in the modern rebirth of Israel in 1948. Application. What seemed impossible to man was certain with God. The story of the Jewish people is a paradox woven into the fabric of history. A tiny nation, yet one that has outlasted the mightiest empires that sought its demise. It's a narrative of impossible survival, a testament to a resilience that defies worldly explanation. This journey through persecution and preservation begins in the ancient world, under the shadow of the great pyramids of Egypt. There, the descendants of Jacob grew into a multitude, their numbers becoming a source of fear for a new Pharaoh. His response was brutal: enslavement. The Israelites were forced into harsh labor, building cities for their oppressors. But when their numbers continued to grow, Pharaoh's cruelty escalated into a decree of genocide, the murder of every newborn Hebrew son. It was a plan for their complete eradication. Yet, in their darkest hour, their cries reached heaven. God intervened, raising up Moses to lead them out of bondage. The Exodus was not merely an escape, it was a powerful, miraculous deliverance that forged a scattered people into a covenant nation, forever marked by the God who rescues. Centuries later, after they had settled in their promised land and built a temple to God, a new empire arose, Babylon. In 586 BC, they breached the walls of Jerusalem, plundered its treasures, and destroyed the holy temple of Solomon. This was more than a military defeat. It was a spiritual cataclysm. The people were forcibly marched into exile, their connection to their land and their God seemingly severed. The question loomed, could a people survive without their homeland, without their sacred center? In Babylon, they faced the threat of assimilation, of being absorbed and forgotten by history. But they refused to disappear, clinging to their identity and the promise of return. And return they did, rebuilding their temple and their nation. But peace was fleeting. The iron fist of the Roman Empire soon closed around Judea. After decades of simmering tension, the Jewish people rose up in the Great Revolt. The response was overwhelming. In 70 AD, Roman legions under Titus laid siege to Jerusalem, and once again, the Holy City was conquered and the Second Temple burned to the ground. This time, the destruction was followed by a determined effort to erase Jewish identity from the land itself. The Jewish people were scattered to the four corners of the earth, beginning a long and painful diaspora that would last for nearly 2 millennia. For 19 centuries, they wandered as a people without a home, often facing persecution and violence, from the Crusades to the Spanish Inquisition to the Pilgrims of Eastern Europe. Yet all this paled in comparison to the darkness that descended in the 20th century. The Holocaust was not an ancient emperor's fit of rage. It was a cold, calculated, industrial-scale attempt at the total annihilation of an entire people. 6 million Jews were systematically murdered. It was the ultimate expression of the world's hatred, an abyss of evil designed to extinguish the Jewish light forever. But even from the ashes of Auschwitz, a flicker of hope remained. The story did not end in despair. Against all odds, just 3 years after the liberation of the concentration camps, the nation of Israel was reborn in its ancestral homeland. Survivors returned to build a future from the ruins of the past. This miraculous survival, from the brick pits of Egypt to the shores of modern Tel Aviv, defies simple historical explanation. It points to a higher power, a guiding hand through the darkest of nights. It is the enduring proof that God's covenant promise to preserve His people is unbreakable, and His hand of protection is, and always will be, stronger than the world's hatred. In 1948, Israel faced overwhelming odds as it declared independence. Surrounded by hostile armies, the new nation fought for its very existence. In 1967, the Six-Day War changed the map of the Middle East. Israel, outnumbered and outgunned, achieved a swift and stunning victory. In 1973, during Yom Kippur, Israel was attacked on 2 fronts. Through courage and resilience, the nation turned the tide and survived. These victories were not just military achievements, they were moments that shaped a nation and inspired the world. Israel's endurance is a testament to faith, unity, and the enduring promise that guides its people. Through every trial, Israel's story reminds us that hope and perseverance can overcome even the greatest challenges. The legacy of these battles lives on, a living witness to the covenant and courage of a nation. Across the horizon of tomorrow, Israel stands as a beacon of hope, its story still unfolding, its destiny intertwined with the promises of God yet to be fulfilled. In the faces of its children, the innovation of its youth, and the prayers of its elders, we glimpse a nation looking forward, rooted in faith, reaching for a future shaped by divine purpose. The land blossoms, communities thrive, and faith endures. Each day, a new chapter in a story of resilience and expectation. As Israel journeys onward, its story invites us to trust in a God who leads His people toward hope, restoration, and a future filled with light. May the unfolding story of Israel inspire us all to look ahead with faith, courage, and expectation for what God will do. This week, reach out to someone from a different background and listen to their story. Let understanding and compassion guide your steps toward peace. Reflect on your own role as a peacemaker. Ask God to show you how to bring hope and unity wherever you are. As this episode closes, let us look to Israel, not just as a nation, but as a living story of hope rising from the dust of history. In every sunrise, every voice in the marketplace, and every prayer at the Western Wall, the story continues, unfolding with new promise each day. May the enduring spirit of Israel remind us that even in the darkest night, dawn is certain. Let this vision inspire you to seek light, to cherish peace, and to walk forward with courage. Until next time, may your journey be marked by hope and wonder. Thank you for watching. If this message spoke to your heart or opened your eyes, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to our channel for more truth-filled, spirit-led content. Together, we can be a voice for the voiceless, a light in the darkness, and a force for good in this broken world. God bless you, and we'll see you in the next video.